Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick from the city of Hampton. And today we are going to meet two exchange students who are in Hampton and specifically in Phoebus right now. And they're going to tell us about their program. My guests are Henrik Born and Valeria Imperi. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome. Thank you.
So just tell us, and I'm going to pick on Henrik first, but tell us just a little bit about your background and why you wanted to do the exchange thing.
So we had the exchange student like 2 years ago from Turkey, and I just saw how he built like his relationships in Germany, how he had friends, how all these developed, and how his German language improved. So
now wait, when you say we had, did he live with your family
Yeah,
or
with
he just
my
went to your
family.
school? Okay.
With my
So you had a
family.
lot of
yeah,
contact. That's cool.
and yeah, so it was my host brother. And I thought it would be pretty cool to do like the same thing, to experience this, to go out in another country with like no people in the bag. We have a few friends from the exchange organization, but it's like you have nobody here except the host family. And that's what I really liked about it, just going out there and experience it.
So you are from Bavaria in Germany. And how old are you?
17.
So this would be would it be your last year of high school?
No, it would be the junior year.
Your junior
too.
year, okay.
Yeah.
And you are at Phoebus High School?
Yes.
Now, do you like study the same things that the Phoebus students study? Your English is pretty darn good.
Thank you. No, we learn English since the 5th grade, so...
Everybody, or do you pick?
Everybody in Germany. It's mandatory, like math and German, we learn English.
Right.
But yeah, in Phoebus I have subjects like psychology or personal finance, which we never had at our school in Germany, which is pretty cool, I think, because we had always the problem we were thinking about, like, how is the school for us? How helps it us, or how would it help us in life?
Right.
And now I have subjects which I really would need, like how I apply for a credit card, things like that, which is really cool.
That is good. I didn't realize they taught that. That's neat.
Yeah.
All right, and so Valeria, tell me about you a little bit.
Okay, so why I came here, or...
Well, tell us where you're from. And
I'm from Rome, Italy, so it's a big city.
huge city.
Yeah, it's really crowded, it's really loud, and I like a lot the atmosphere about that, and I always like to go and visit monuments with my friends or museums. They're always open, and it's really cool to walk along the streets, and it's so much different.
It is like I'm sure, for both of you, just a total cultural change anyway, from being in a different country. But from going to this, it's an unusual big city. I mean, like, sometimes you feel like you're in a big city, and then the next minute you turn a corner and there's ancient ruins. So I don't think there's very many cities like it.
Yeah,
so you leave that.
I didn't really have a cultural shock when I came here because I already knew a lot about the American culture. But sometimes I really get shocked about things that are really different. So that's cool about the experience too.
So did you guys pick what country you wanted to go to? Did you give them a list, or how did they match you?
So I just wanted to come here in the first place, but I had to select 2 more countries for the exchange program, and I chose Canada and France.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So what has been your biggest shock? I mean, what took a lot of getting used to for you?
I don't really know, but maybe the big spaces in the whole country, because in Italy, I think it's the size as California or something, but here, like, the spaces are so big and everything is so far away from each other. Like, if you have to go to Target and you live in the country, you have to drive for 40 minutes, and I'm used to like going to the shopping center and like walk 2 minutes and I'm there.
So at this point, because nowhere in Hampton do you have to drive 40 minutes to get to a Target, we should say that you were on the outskirts, more in the country area around Northern Virginia for a while. Yes, so that is, I imagine that is really different.
Yeah, it is.
Henrik, what was a real shock for you?
So the first thing which was really strange for me is that if you walk into a house, you leave your shoes on, which is in Germany, you don't do that. You go into a house and most of the time there's a little place before you enter like the living room or something, where you take your shoes off. And that was just something I experienced, which was kind of strange for me, but
it's
I'm
funny
used
how
to it.
we don't think of those the little cultural things,
Yeah.
the big things
Yeah.
I think we think about.
Or Germans are really direct too. If something is not like we want it to have, we say it. It's not like Americans are really nice. They say, or like the food tastes interesting or something, and we just say, I don't like it. They're these little things.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I notice is that the Americans are really bold and say everything to your face. Maybe they use an indirect way of saying that, but they say it. And in Italy...
That's interesting, the way you two are framing it, because it tells a little bit about your cultures, too.
Yeah, in Italy, everyone is nice, so no one would ever say something direct to you. So, yeah.
So does that mean they're not nice in Germany?
That's not, no. We're super nice. We just have a different way of communication with each other. And that's hard to figure out, too, with the host family, how you communicate. Sometimes there are misunderstandings, but I mean, that's...
Well, and it depends on the host family, because there's a whole range in this country and in this area of how people do things based on their own backgrounds and cultures. So you might experience something completely different than you're seeing, depending on the household. What's been the best thing, or the most fun, or the most interesting?
I really like the atmosphere of the United States. Like, I was in the country, I really liked seeing the country. I've never seen the country like that. And just, I don't know, everything is quiet. Everything, not here, maybe sometimes, but everything in Rome is so loud. And sometimes you never really hear yourself. And here you can like discover yourself because everything is quiet and everything is, I don't know, slow.
Yeah, I think that's not necessarily an American thing, but it's maybe a Virginia thing too. Like if you were in New York City, you wouldn't be saying that. Or if you were from Tuscany, you would, the open spaces might not be as cool to you because you've, seen all that grassland and pastures and all that, grapes and stuff. Very different.
Yeah.
So it's like living in a park, kind of, or where you used to be. Less so in Phoebus, I think, probably.
Yeah, this is much of a bigger city. But still, it's not as crowded and loud as Rome.
Right. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Henrik, what about you?
So I really like to experience all these small things which are different from my life in Germany. Like, we were living somewhere in a village. We had a lot of grass around us. And now we're living like at the beach. We can go in the ocean. We can go swimming, and all that stuff. It's just different. And these little like old Phoebus. It's really nice to experience that. It's looking like in one of these Wild Western movies with the old saloons. I really like that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, literally, Phoebus had more saloons per person at one point than anywhere else in the country. It was quite the swinging town. Right before and even during Prohibition.
Yeah, I think that's really fun to see like the history, to experience how everything started and how it developed really, really fast. And that's pretty cool.
Is it weird for you? Like one of the things in Hampton we are so super proud of is that we are a city that is more than 400 years old.
Yeah.
And where both of you come from, 400 isn't that much.
Yeah.
Especially Rome.
Yeah, that's a difference too.
It's still, we had a long time where like nothing developed in Europe, like the Middle Age.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody coming and suddenly it started to be America and they built everything. It's really cool to see the history, how fast everything went to this country, which is America now.
So what about school and making friends? And has that been easy, hard, somewhere in between? I'll especially hit you because this is your second school.
Yeah. One thing I really like about the program is like having no one to talk to at the beginning and then like introducing yourself to the whole class and like seeing that even if you don't know anybody, if you really try, you can get as many friends as you want. And that's really cool about the program because it taught me of to like be more independent and responsible. And yeah, it's something that not everyone can experience. Yeah.
Did you make friends? You made friends easily. You're a very outgoing person.
Yeah, I have made friends too, but it's kind of different than the German thing, because in Germany I used to sit with all the people in the class every day, every hour.
Oh, you went to every class
in the same
same group.
Yeah, so it was kind of new for me to change the classroom, to meet new people, which made it harder for me in the beginning to make friends. But now I have my friends here and I really like them, so it went out really, really good. And we have a really good principal. He graduated in Phoebus, and now he's back. And he took really good care of us. So,
this is my opinion because my kids went there, but I always think of Phoebus as the school that is, it's harder to be cliquey because it's a little smaller than some of the high schools, and that it's, you know, the different sort of groups that you would find in American high school. They interact and they overlap a lot more there.
Yeah, that's what I experienced too. So it's hard to find like one group where you kind of fit in, the people. You're kind of looking like for the people you had as your friends in your home country too. But it always works out. Sometimes there are a little bit differences, but you will find people.
Yeah, one thing, like, I asked everyone, like, do you have groups in your school, or is it like a big community? And they said it's just everyone talks to everyone.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we're going to pause for a minute and bring your host family on. But do you guys have anything else you want to say, or any advice? Like if there are families out there thinking about hosting, or if there are students out there who want to go on this program, what would you say to them?
So I really, I would say to everyone, just go and choose your country. And it can be any country. The experience is really good. Like, it's just awesome. So
And I will tell the students, go out there and don't wait for somebody to ask you to do something. Just go there and be a little bit annoying to the people in the beginning to introduce you, just that they recognize you, that they won't be like, oh, look at this, there's a new student. How is he? Let's just look at him. Just go there, talk to them. And everything will
and always
be
say
good.
yes to everything.
Say yes,
say yes to everything.
Because then so if you really want to do something, you say yes. Even if you don't want to do something, say yes, because then it turns out to be awesome.
Or even if it doesn't, you've learned something or experienced something that you hadn't before.
Yeah.
And you meet new people.
That's right. Okay. The other thing I want to say, and I don't know if it's just your host family or if it's part of the experience, but you, while you were here, were so immersed in the community that you did volunteer work. I know that because we did the Habitat Blitz together.
Yeah, you're right.
Are you supposed to, or is that just you?
We're not supposed to, but
involved?
It's like a part of the program to be like open to everything. And as we want to be a part of the community and a part of the family, I think it's really important to do something. So the whole community sees what exchange students are doing, what people exchange students are. And so it was really fun to do this. We even met the mayor.
The mayor came by. That's right.
It was a fun thing, but it's definitely not required to do.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. We're going to take a quick pause, and we're going to bring out Henrik's family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're back now, and I want to introduce you to Clyde Wolfe-Borders, who has been hosting Henrik. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on today.
You were watching from the side to make sure, he didn't do anything.
To embarrass the family. Yeah.
Embarrass the family or embarrass the program. Either one, right?
I would never embarrass the family.
Yeah.
You suddenly have a teenager for a year, which is not normally been a part of your household. What has it been like?
It's a unique experience. Edwin was our first student, so we've had two. We've had Edwin from Sweden, and then now we have Henrik from Germany. So going from no kids to having a teenager for a year is quite a change.
Yeah, most parents are like ready to get rid of the teenager, not take one on.
Right, yeah, so we don't have that buildup of taking them from an infant on up. It's just they show up.
And so you've done this before, but you are also involved in the organization as a whole.
Right.
And I forgot to say the name of it, so I'm going to...
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm a volunteer with AFS. It's AFS USA on the website. It is an organization that started actually in 1918. The organization started as American Field Service during the war. They were ambulance drivers, they were volunteers. Oh. And after the war, they realized the importance of just cultural understanding and awareness. And so they started bringing students over. And that's how the program started.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, I always thought, I didn't know much about this, but to host a teenager, you kind of had to have a teenager. Like, I didn't realize that anybody whose
Right.
kids were gone or didn't have kids could just sort of step up, because I always thought, well, they need that
Right.
peer there that they could talk to.
Right. No, we're always looking for host families. We are a diverse organization, just like the country itself. We look for single-parent households, traditional family households, same-sex couples, with kids, no kids. I find our reoccurring host families are usually retirees whose kids are grown, and so they just like having a teenager around again for some reason.
Or they have a strategy so that when they go on vacation, they have places to go and stay.
Right, because we make an extended family.
Yeah.
With the relationship we build with our students, we also have that connection to their family. And so a lot of times it's travel. We have an extended family now. When we want to go to Germany, we'll certainly go and visit his family, because then now they're a part of our lives.
And have you met his family? Didn't your dad come over to the United States?
Came over like 3 weeks ago. We had a great time. We visited a little bit around here. We went to Norfolk. We were at the Battleship Wisconsin. So we had a great time. And he really liked Clyde and Joseph.
Yeah, it was really fun. And it's interesting because the kids come here and they're here for the school year. So they arrive in August and they leave in June. They're here for all the holidays. They're here for their birthdays. So we are their family for the year. And it's funny to see their families, because you give up your kid for a year.
Right, that's got to be scary. From the parent side, that's
Right.
a little scary. Do I trust you to take care of my kid? Well, I do. But if I didn't know you...
Right, yeah. So it's a big trust thing. And it's interesting how I think the Europeans and other countries overseas are more open to sending their kids on a program to give them that experience. We bring over kids from over 90 countries to come to the U.S. to study. And then we also take kids from the United States and we send them to 40 different countries to choose from. So it's a big international program, but it's a great experience, not only for the students coming over to see our culture, but dropping these kids in our American high schools, and they get to expose our kids to a different culture who they might not have seen before.
Maybe it's scary. I mean, one of the points Valeria made is that, this country's huge.
Yep.
And so a lot of people here have traveled to states, but they may not have traveled to Europe or other countries. Right. Whereas in Europe, you're a whole lot closer to go visit and do that, sort of comfort level with.
Right. Well, and that's what I was telling Henrik. I know before he came, they had a host student before from Turkey, and they went to Turkey to visit him and his family. And for them, it was a 2-hour flight. And for us, 2 hours gets me to Georgia. So it's, you have such a different perspective of the world. And I have to say, too, one thing that I've learned is teenagers are the same, no matter where they're coming from. They're attached to their phone.
No.
It's YouTube. It's just, that's their life. And that was an interesting thing that I noticed when we brought over our students the first few times. It was, you're just a teenager, no matter where you're from.
So who are you communicating with on your phone? Are you still real in touch with your friends back home, or are you now you're talking to people in Phoebus?
It's kind of important to me to be still in touch with my friends at home, because when I come back, I want to have my friends back too.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm actually more in touch with my friends at home than with my friends in Phoebus, but I'm also writing over Instagram or something with my friends here in Phoebus. The phone is just something which really helps us to stay in contact and to be up to date. If something at home happens, I know it. And
yeah. That is really nice, because I'm sure, when the program started, you could write letters home, but that was about it.
Right, yeah, so now you have that connection. And so that's one of the things, as a host parent and part of the program, we really try to be aware of is how much communication do they have at home, because we really want them to be part of the program and develop the connections in their new community. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize too for the kids that are coming over is they give up this school year back home.
Oh, I was stunned to hear that. Yeah, like you are missing your junior year. This doesn't count. And so you have to go back to 2 more years.
Yeah, but that's because of the Bavarian school system that we have to collect points for 2 years. And I would miss like the half of the points, so I would fail the graduation. So I think some people out from Berlin don't have to redo the year, but that's just the school system.
The way, But that's still, you know, you're getting a heck of an education here.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really count toward the diploma.
Right.
Unfortunately, I think at some points we learn so much more than we would do with just staying in Germany, like how it's just, we learn just a lot about life, and sometimes that's more important than how much we learn in school about algebra.
That's true. Yeah, and that's the point of the program, is to expand their knowledge and just of the world in general. So now the other, you know, with that now, when things happen overseas, now I have a connection. I'm more concerned with what's going on in Germany now because I have a family there.
Right.
I'm concerned about Sweden and what's happening there because I have a family there. And being involved in the organization, I've met kids from all over the world as a volunteer. And so now on the world stage, I'm a bigger global citizen, I think, and I'm more concerned with what's happening because it's more of a personal connection. It's not just another country and another land. It's somebody that I know.
Well, and you know, as the students said, they get together, but the host families are involved in some of that too. So obviously, you knew Valeria, you know other kids from all over.
Right. Yeah, we offer as the group. We have our host families, and those are important for us to have. But then we also offer other levels of support for those families. So in the organization, I'm a host family, but I'm also Valeria's liaison. So I have a monthly touch base with her and her host family there, just to make sure that everything is working out. Answer questions. Are there any issues? Because like anything, we have cycles that we go through. When the students first arrive, everyone is excited and it's all brand new, and then you get more comfortable.
Well, then there's probably a little homesickness period.
Right, we get through the homesickness,
yeah.
And then you kind of get through the holidays, and then there's a lull, and then it's like, okay, you've been here for 5 months. When do you go home?
Or you're like, I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah, right. And then it picks up again, and then we get excited again, and then it gets emotional because they're leaving us, and then sometimes the kids don't want to leave because they're torn between the new family, and there's ups and downs. And so as a liaison, I try to help work through that with the student and the other families as well. So for host families, we don't just drop a kid on your lap and walk away.
So what about if somebody who's watching is like, this sounds fun, I can do this, I want to be a host family.
Yep.
How do they go through that? What are their responsibilities?
Okay, yeah, so the best way to start is go to afsusa.com. That's going to give you all the information on the program. There is a link that you send in that says, hey, I'm interested in hosting a student. I'm really big right now working in Hampton trying to build up our host family base. Henrik was the first exchange student for our program in quite a while.
Wow.
Yeah, so once you fill out that online, the organization will get in touch with you and get you the application started. Then the process would go, if you're in Hampton, I would actually be the one to come and interview you. We do a home interview with the whole family.
That's good.
We want to make sure everyone's on board and everyone's aware of what they're taking on. After the home interview, we go through student selection. And so you get to see the bios of all the students that are available from the different countries, and we help you narrow that down. The students write a nice letter, talks about their interest. Are they in sports? What do they really like? So we can try and find a fit for the family. After that, once we select a couple of students, then the family actually gets the picture of the student and a letter from the natural family, and you get to learn a little bit more about the student. From there, the requirement for the host family is to give them a place to live. They need a bedroom with a closet and a dresser. So we're not looking for a huge household.
That's right. They don't have to have a private bath.
You don't have to have a private bath. You just need a place to sleep. And then the host families are responsible for providing 3 meals. So that's either cooking the meal, having the food available, putting money on the lunch card.
Right.
So they're a member of your family. If we go to dinner, if we go to the movies as a family, we pay for the student. If the student wants to go on a trip, go shopping, that's on their own. They have money that they do bring and their families provide. So the student is responsible for paying for anything above and beyond just your everyday living expenses. And that's really all we ask for. With these kids, they're not allowed to drive. So we are transportation if they're involved in activities.
Hey, we mostly are for our teenagers anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're just part of the family is how we look at it. They can, we take them on vacation if we're going on vacation. The second half of the program, they are allowed to travel independently. So we do have some guidelines to make sure that they're getting an education because they do have to go to school. But then towards the second half, we open it up a little bit so they can explore the country and get a little more exposure.
But as Henrik said, they can't rent a motel room. So,
So it's challenging.
There's some, smart limits in there.
There's some limits. And we do have a good network. So we try to make sure if he wants to go somewhere, we have host families that we can
Who in
connect him
Atlanta
with
could put him up and
Right.
all that. That's right. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm only thinking on the host family side because my teenagers are gone. But if there's a student hearing this, how do they get involved? Is it the same?
Same thing. You go to the afsusa.com website, and there's an application or an inquiry button to put in that you want to get involved in the program.
And on the student side, if you're the parent of a student, there's more costs, right? You
There is more
do the
cost.
transportation. Well, they'd need spending money at home anyway,
Right.
but
Yeah, so the students, the families cover the cost of these programs to send or come over here.
But there are a lot of ways to get scholarships for the year. We have, I don't know how many different ways, but it's easy to get a scholarship. It's not really hard, and they
good.
often have more scholarships than they can give away because some people say, well, let's not try to get one. I wouldn't get one anyways, but it's not hard to get one, and they like to give scholarships away.
that's great.
Yeah, so we're governed by the State Department. And so the State Department does have a lot of scholarships to send and receive. So that's another opportunity. We bring kids over and send for semester, year-long, summer enrichment. So there's a lot of opportunities for our students in the United States to travel on different types of programs. And typically, our language skills do not have to be as well developed as theirs do when they come here.
It's not in the American public education system to learn from, early. Sometimes it's like third grade they start teaching English in several countries. And English is frequently kind of the backup language. But that's not really the same here. Certainly none of my children could speak Turkish or Italian, not much.
So it's a different requirement. We do like the students. If you're studying a language in high school, we can send you to that country, and then it's a language immersion at that point. You develop the skills really quickly.
It would have to.
It's also, I have some friends, they went to Japan or to the Philippines, and they get a speaking lesson from the exchange organization, and then they have to show that they actually learn the language, so they won't go there and say, it's just 1 year vacation, I don't care about anything.
Right.
So
and sometimes English is the common language.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, your second language. It might be the host family's second language. It can help smooth some of it over.
But they say you will learn to speak the language until Christmas.
Right.
That's what they tell.
Henrik's family is currently hosting a student from Philadelphia.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, she's living in my room.
Well, we have to wrap up because this has gone on. But it's so fun and exciting. It's just a lot. Is there anything you want to add, though, before we close?
No, I just want to thank you for having us, and I'm hoping there's some people that are interested. Like I said, we're certainly always looking for host families of all shapes and sizes.
All right. Well, thank you both.
Thank you.
And thanks to Valeria.
Absolutely.
And thank you for watching. I hope you will think, if you are the parent of a teenager, explain the program to them, see if they're interested, be willing, but also maybe take a student on whether or not you have kids. It's a great opportunity. And as I said, you've got families in Europe or wherever now that you can go visit. So think about it. Thanks for watching.